tips would you have for beginners who are just getting started with TCM Pro, and why funnels and automation in general can be great for their business?
It really does come back to the fact that if you think about what great tools are, great software is, it's really about taking something you could do manually and really allowing you to magnify out your results. And so that's truly in the long term, where the biggest benefit is. You can run and become a much larger organization, even as a single owner operator, than ever before. But my biggest tip is actually start super small. So I think sometimes when you see the promise of something, you get really excited and you think to yourself, well, I want to dive in and I need to learn all of it and I've got to be an expert and all of these things. But that's actually not true. What you need to do actually is you need to get yourself to one piece of value as fast as you can. Because what you're going to find is if you try to, I always try to say, if you try to eat the whale, right, it just doesn't work, right? You really got to attack it one piece at a time. And what you're really doing there is not only are you learning, but you're also creating real value for yourself in the moment. So you can always say, well, while I may not know everything yet, what I do know is I have this one thing that is already working, that's doing something that I was doing a minute ago manually, and that's a win. And then you can incrementally build up from that. You don't have to feel like, gosh, I got to be an expert. I got to figure this all out on day one. Otherwise, this isn't worth it. That's the biggest mistake I see people make.
I think that's kind of where we were in the beginning, to be honest. So when we first started with a funnel system, we didn't have any idea how to build it. We didn't know how to, even the drag and drop features in another competitor that we were with, we honestly couldn't figure it out. And so it was one of those situations where we were trying to figure out, okay, well, what kind of caption goes here? Then you have to figure out all these other things, but we simplified it, right? And there's a lot of simple features in there that people can use, and it's been pretty great. So we're super excited about it. But yeah, we have a whole training database. Go High Level has a whole training base. We have a full-time tech team with HL Pro Tools. So we're really excited about that. But do Heather and Bill, do either one of you have any questions for Shaun before we release the ball and chain and let him go back to his life?
I don't have a question, but I have a comment.
Okay.
My dad told me a long time ago, if you're ever going to go into business with somebody, go into business with somebody that's going somewhere. You don't want to be in business with someone that's sitting still. Because if you're sitting still, the world around you is moving fast and you're actually going backwards. I'm excited to be part of just a tiny part of what Shaun and these guys at High Level are doing, because they're definitely going somewhere. We're attached. And you're gonna play hell shaking us loose. I'll promise you that. We're hooked on, buddy. Thank you, Shaun. Appreciate you being here.
I sure appreciate it.
Yes, all right. We're super excited, and we are super excited to be at the summit this October.
I can't wait.
We'll be there. Last year was pretty fun, so we're excited to go back. So
don't worry, we'll make it worth your time. It'll be a great time.
Oh, it'll be worth it for sure. So thanks so much for joining.
Yeah, thanks for having me. It was great to be here.
Yeah, we're super excited, and we'll chat soon. So
all right, bye everybody. Thank you.
Have a great day.
Thank you, Shaun.
You too.
All right. So all right, guys. So we're really excited about our next interview. However, Sam is having a little difficulty getting logged on. So Jeremy, my question for you is, do you want me to switch? Because we do have Liz on here already. So do you want me to go ahead and let Heather interview Liz? And then as soon as we figure out how to get Sam on, then we can switch on. What do you want to do? You can let me know in the chat, or you can, oh, there he is. Never mind. We got Sam in.
Hello, everyone. Good morning.
Okay. Awesome. So Bill is actually going to be interviewing our friend Sam. Sam and Jeremy own a company called VT Members. They are our partnership for all the things. They do all the stuff that you just think we're doing. We're really not. It's really them, because we hired a full-time marketing team. So Bill, take it away.
Thank you, Tara. Boy, I tell you what, this we started out really good, and now we're fixing to go one step better. I'm excited about this. You know, with network marketing, it's well, not really just network marketing, it's any business. Growth is, you want growth to take place. And the challenge is as a business grows, the originator of that business gets covered up with all the details of what has to be done to keep the business just going, not making it grow. And so as I see it, you know, a virtual assistant, a program like Sam and Jeremy really have come in and helped us get going. As I see it, that type of program, it allows not just a network marketer, but it allows anybody in network marketing to focus more on what I like to think of as the core values or the high value parts of any business. And you know, I've been in the network marketing industry for 34 years now, and here's what I believe. I believe that the high value portions of network marketing, any network marketing business, the portions that are going to make it grow when you're not there, we're going to make it grow when you've stepped aside and you're letting other things happen. Those parts, those high level activities, they include, number one, the vision of where the business is going. That's part of it. That's one of those high level characteristics. And then there's obviously leadership development in the downline organization. And then you've got to focus on organizational culture, and then creating and maintaining the community and building relationships. All that's the high level stuff. But now if you're focused on just that, who takes care of the details? Well, Sam and Jeremy do. That's who takes care of the details. We started looking for a VA team a long time ago. And I tell you what, there's some things that we were looking for, and there's some things that these guys had. And I want to bring them to attention first. We really want to make sure that any VA that we brought in, we wanted to make sure they had all the ability to let us stay focused on the high value things. That's the first part. The second thing is they had to have the ability to save us time. Our time was valuable for growing the business, not maintaining the business. And even some of those things necessary in growing the business, we really did need to contribute our time there, especially with a team like Jeremy and Sam had put together. And then certainly we wanted a VA company that would save us money. We didn't want to go hire a whole bunch of people. We wanted to have a team that could save us money, save us time. And then we wanted them to be able to take our workload, look at it, and better manage it than we could. That's kind of really stretching things here, but that's what we wanted. And then we wanted some skill diversity, and these guys definitely had it. We found all those things with these guys, and so we're glad they're here. You know, they had to know the network marketing industry. They had to be experienced communicators. They had to fit into our culture, and they had to be reliable. They had to be trustworthy. They had to be proactive. You know, and it goes without mentioning, they had to be technologically intelligent. That's pretty obvious. But here's the key. They had to be able to look at our business, understand our business, and take care of our business just like it was their own. And that's what we know that they do. And so I'm just excited to be able even to introduce Sam and Jeremy. Thank you for being here too. But I guess I'm going to turn it over to Sam first, and then Sam's going to maybe introduce you. I'm going to step back and give you guys the floor. Sam, thank you for being here. It's all yours, buddy.
Awesome. Thank you, everyone, for that warm intro. You know, I always tell people I'm just a kid trying to figure things out and trying to figure business out. I just want to give you maybe a little bit of a quick background about myself. You know, my background, I actually dropped out of third-year university at 20 years old, and I decided I wasn't gonna pursue that route because I wanted to go the route of entrepreneurship. I ran one of the largest door-to-door sales teams for the largest telecom company in Canada. From there, we've learned a lot of things, especially when it comes to delegation. And I think that, you know, it's, you know, some of the questions that you guys are going to ask me later touches specifically on what I feel a virtual assistant plays in, you know, helping network marketers manage their business a little bit more efficiently. I think that the most important thing is that regardless of what kind of business it is, and regardless of what kind of venture you're on, regardless of the vehicle, I think it's one thing is true, that we all have 4 resources. We all have time, we all have energy, we also have attention, and we have money. And money, I think Hormozi actually has a really, really amazing quote. Money is just stored time and energy of other people. And so when it comes to virtual assistant, I think that, you know, for us, like, to give you guys a quick rundown of who we are and what we do, we're a virtual talent agency. So what we do is we source, we hire, we train, and we manage a remote workforce for North American companies, but for a fraction of the cost. Now, specifically for the network marketing space, we have funnel builders, we have cold callers, we have social media managers, we have lead generators. But at the end of the day, I think what's more important is that you, as the network marketing professional, you have to understand and figure out, what is your strength zone? What is your genius zone? What is the thing that if you put your time into this business activity, it is going to yield the highest return for the time and energy and attention that's spent, and focus only on that, right? I take my clients through a process where the first thing that I tell them is I say, all right, come up with a list of all the things that you are good at and you hate doing. Why? Because when you do things that you hate, it doesn't just take up your time, it takes up your energy. And so when you give away things that you hate, you don't just get back time, you get back energy. And so the role of a virtual assistant, really what it plays is that, you know, it clones you essentially, right? And I ask my clients this question all the time. I say, look, if there was a cloning machine and I could put you in a cloning machine and you put in one of you and then out comes like you 2.0. Okay, could you double your business in the next 6 months? And if the answer isn't an indisputable yes, then don't work with me. Because if you work with me, right, if we get a virtual assistant, essentially what it does is it clones, let's just say hypothetically, it frees up an extra 20 hours a week of your time and you work 40 hours a week, let's just say, which I know we all don't because we're all entrepreneurs and we all work ridiculous hours. But let's just say they free up an extra 20 hours a week of your time. Then that extra 20 hours, that's effectively cloning 50% of you, right? And so taking that and putting that into a business activity that's going to get you to the next level, that is what the role of entrepreneur is. One final point, and then we can kind of hop to questions here, which is that, you know, I think that as an entrepreneur, the only reason why you're not growing as fast as you are right now, or fast as you can right now, is because of a mismanaged and a misuse and a misallocation of your time, your energy, your attention, and your money. Okay. And so that's what we do. We help people not only identify, isolate the problem that they have in their business, and then we delegate to people that can help them.
Very good, Sam. Let me network marketers understand this concept of leverage. And as I heard you talk here, I'm getting the feeling that y'all are experts at helping us leverage time, money, experience, knowledge. You help us leverage those things, and we understand that part of it. But are there areas in the network marketing industry that you guys could help us reach into more effectively that you could talk about for a minute?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm glad that you brought up that word, because let's actually talk about the definition of leverage first. Okay. So leverage by definition is the gap between the inputs and the outputs of a machine. Okay. So if I put in 1 unit of time, energy, and attention, okay, and I get 5 units of output, that is a 5-to-1 return on my time, energy, attention, and my money, right? In marketing, it's very easy for us to figure out the numbers around this, right? It's called return on ad spend, right? Or like your cost of acquisition. Based on your cost of acquisition and your lifetime value of your client, you can reverse engineer and be like, what am I actually getting in terms of return? So the higher return you get for the time, energy, and money that you put in, the higher leverage you have. So let's actually talk about leverage. I'll give you an example. Sales training, right? Sales skills, that's leverage, right? So leverage, for example, if, for example, you are you're great at booking appointments, you're a great salesperson, right? And in order to sign up new people into your downline, right, you need to for example, go and have conversations with people, right? If you have the skills, you make 10 calls, right? You might book 5. If you don't have the skills, you might make 10 calls and you book 1. So sales skills become the leverage that gets you a 5-to-1 return, right? So when I look at virtual assistants and the role that they play in a lot of our clients' businesses, the role that they play is they essentially free up your time so that your time can be spent on higher leverage activities. For example, Richard Branson, the billionaire, right? I did an in-depth study of how he actually, how he works through people and how he actually runs his business. He has a meeting with his operations director or his assistant first thing in the morning, right? To talk about all of his businesses. And he works through her to go and manage all his businesses. Richard Branson doesn't check his own emails. I hope you guys know that, right? And so, you know, there's a concept in personal development is be, do, have, right? Not have, do, be, right? Not you have what you want and then you do what you need to do and then you become successful. No, it's be, do, have, which means you have to embody the type of person first that is already successful. Then you will do what they do. Then you will have what they have. And so if you look at leverage, when you actually think about the word leverage, it's how much am I getting out of the time, energy, and money that I'm spending, right? So for instance, right now, as we're speaking, right, this call is being recorded. Chances are we're probably going to dice this call up for social media content, right? So I am putting 1 unit of my time, energy, and attention on this call right now, but just by having a virtual assistant come in, dice it up, and create videos and syndicating that onto different platforms, on TikTok, on YouTube, on Facebook, on Instagram, and syndicating, as you syndicate on different platforms, right? Now my 1 unit of time gets multiplied into multiple units of output. So it's a very strategic thing, but I think really fundamentally, it's understanding that with virtual assistants, the role of a virtual assistant is to take the things that you do that are low leverage and to take that off so then you can focus your time on the higher leverage activities in your business, if that makes sense.
Super good point. And I mentioned in the very beginning that developing downline leaders, building relationships, all that's important. And to me, just from my experience, that's a very difficult thing to leverage and to teach people how to become a leader, how to work and build relationships. And so can a virtual assistant help us with some of those things, Sam? Is it possible for a VA to help us with that?
Yeah, absolutely. I think this, right? Here's the bottom line when it comes to decision making. So my team knows this. I actually put on this shirt just for you guys because I was like, I should probably put on like a shirt that's a little bit more form fitting so I can like look like I work out. You know what I mean? But normally, Jeremy knows I wear the same hoodie every day. Why? That hoodie I can wear outside. I can wear inside. It like temperature regulates. Like it's like the same hoodie. Why? Because it is true. And this statement, I've tested this over and over again. Okay. And it is true. The more decisions that you need to make in your day, the lower the quality of each decision. The less decisions you need to make, the higher quality each decision can be. So with the virtual assistant, okay, with the way that I work with, for example, with my team member, I'll just share with you guys one of the frameworks that I use. It's not a sexy name. It's called 9-11-135s. Okay. So I have over 200 employees. I have over 200 clients. I have 400 plus all my friends, families, brothers, sisters, aunts, uncles, all those relationships to manage. I have a lot of people that want something from me at one time. Okay. Like my phone's probably blowing up right now. I literally have 2 phones. Okay. Why? Because like people blow me up on this phone, and this phone is for like, I have like 25 people that have this now. Right. So the reason why I do this is because for me, I want to minimize the number of decisions that I am making on a daily basis. So the system that I have as my operations director, I call it 9-11-135s. If you actually think about it, in the game of network marketing, how many different channels could people reach you from? You have Facebook Messenger, you have WhatsApp, you have Slack, you have Telegram, you have Discord, you have text, you have phone calls, you have everything, emails, right? There's so many ways that people can reach you, right? And so how many times when you've done prospecting on social media or whatever it is, and then you forget to check the platform, and then somebody messages you back saying that they're interested, and you're like, oh shit, I forgot to message, right? So the system that I've developed is a communication management system. So my operations director, Angie, she actually goes and checks all my platforms at 9, 11, 1, 3, and 5. And what she'll do is she'll compile a list of actionable items and non-actionable items. And in the beginning, when I first brought her on board, guess how big? And so just by the way, the actionable items are the things that only I can make decisions on. The non-actionable items are things that she can make decisions on that I just need to be aware of. So in the beginning, right, the actionable item list was like 90%. And then the non-actionable items, the things that she could do was 10%. Today, right, over the last like year and a half, as we've been honing and building the system, and I've been assigning authority, right? She can now do 90%. She can make decisions on 90%, right? Like I'll say things to her like, hey, anything under $300, if it's a refund, you make the decision on it. Don't come talk to me anymore, right? And so as I assign authority over to her, right, she can now make those decisions for me, which then frees up my emotional capacity for me to focus and have higher quality decisions so I can make the decisions that will make the quantum leaps in my business. Okay, so there you go.
I tell you what, Sam, one of the things that I have struggled with, even today, is social media marketing and understanding all that. I mean, to me, a reel is something you put on a rod to go fishing with. And I found out from Tara and Heather, it's actually something totally different. And I promise you, there's a whole lot of network marketers that are confused about some of those things as well. Can you explain just a little bit about how you would help the newbies, or the, for lack of a better term, the ignorant, understand those things better?
When you say a reel, are you talking about like reeling fishing reel, or are we talking about an Instagram reel, like a TikTok?
No, they know Instagram reels. The only one I knew about was the fishing one.
So you want me to give advice to a newbie, right?
Yes.
Okay. So so to give you guys an idea, I actually joined several network marketing companies in my career. Not only that, my fiance, her mother, before she passed away, she was actually one of like the top network marketers in USANA. Like all of Asia was under her. Like she had tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people in her down. Okay. One thing I will say is this. People get into, so actually, let me back up on 2 points. Okay. First point is this. Okay. How valuable you view an opportunity will change how hard you work that opportunity. Okay. How valuable an opportunity is, it will change how hard you work at that. If you had to put up $500,000 of your own money, you would work that opportunity to its bone. Why? Because you have $500,000 of exposure. Okay. The danger of network marketing is that most network marketing companies, to get in, it's too easy. The barrier of entry is too low. And so the first thing that you need to do is you need to sell yourself on the opportunity. Before you do anything else, before you do your first business activity and reach out to your first person, you need to ask yourself, is this the best opportunity for me, and why? And come up with a list of reasons and sell yourself on the fact that this is the best opportunity. Because sales is a transfer of energy, right? What kind of energy you feel? And you say, I will say this, sales is a transfer of energy, but more specifically, sales is a transfer of emotion. And the person that is the most convicted in the sales conversation ends up winning the sales conversation. Why? Because they're sold. They're sold on it. Nobody wants to be a fraud. Nobody wants to be the asshole that got somebody into something and then nobody makes money and then now everybody hates that person. Nobody wants to be that guy. Everybody wants to be the guy that, like, 90%, there's the 10% there that probably get into network marketing because like, oh, I just want to get rich. But 90% of the people, why choose network marketing? Because it's an opportunity offer. You can give somebody else an opportunity. And that is incredibly valuable. So one, you have to understand that you have to sell yourself on the opportunity. And the second thing, and I know this has had nothing to do with virtual assistant, but I built like a $3 million company in 2 years from like a lot of these principles that I'm going to share with you. Okay. The second thing, actually, I would say this is probably the first thing, is you have to understand why you're doing it. You have to understand why you're doing it. Alex Ramosi, if you guys don't know, he runs a portfolio of company that does, I think he's over $250 million a year now, but he interviews 3,000 companies that want to be part of his portfolio company every single month. And those 3,000 companies, you know what he realized? He realized that most entrepreneurs, their ambition caps at 500,000 and take home a year. Like after 500,000, he notices a huge dip in motivation, in focus. And so most people, the average mind, the luxuries that an average mind can conceive, right, is covered in $500,000. So in order for you to succeed in network marketing, you want to look at the people that you want to help. You look at the comp plan and look at, if they get to their income, what your income needs to be at. And that income, that number cannot be below what the total is. Does that make sense? Right? Like, for example, in our business, I pay a percentage in commission, right, to every single person that works with all of my sales guys, right? If one of the sales guys tells me he wants to make $1 million a year, right? And let's just say, hypothetically, for the sake of numbers, I'm paying out 10% in commissions, okay? Then that means that if I'm a $10 million company, I can only accommodate one winner in my organization that makes $1 million a year. Because if I pay in 10%, does that make sense? Right? Which means if I want to accommodate 10 winners that want to make $1 million a year, then my company needs to be what? $100 million. So if you can make your team's goals your goal, if you can make their why your why, if you can make their reasons your reasons, you'll never run out of motivation. That would be my tip, Bill.
Boy, awesome input, Sam. Awesome. Here's what I'd like to do. Jeremy, I'd like for you to jump in here on this last question that I've got. With network marketers, there's experienced people, and then there's the newbie. How can we help either one of those people find and select the right person for their particular needs? I know that both you guys have really helped Tara, Heather, and myself find people that specifically fit the needs that were going to help us the most. And so how do you guys do that? How do you figure out, what's going to be needed the most, and how do you match these people together? How do you do that?
Hey, Bill, thank you so much for a quick spotlight. So I'm going to give you a little bit of my experience, just because I was a newbie and I learned from a guy named Grant Cardone of how to not be a newbie. So one of Grant's quote is, if you're not up in their face, they're going to forget you. So I used to apply that same message with like applying for jobs or asking someone to mentor me or bugging people to teach me things. And just like everybody else, if you ask them once, sure, they may give you some attention. Twice, sure, they will. And over time, once they give you that attention and you're no longer just pursuing it and you're just taking it and pulling back, that person's going to give their time to somebody else. So always being persistent, always being in someone's face, always asking for help, even though they don't want to give it, it puts out an aura that this person really, really wants it, even if they don't understand it. And over time, you gravitate towards them, where you give them more information and they're showing up and they're putting in the work and they're putting in notes and they're showing up with a notebook and they're ready to learn and give advice. So that has been my start, where I started following people. And this is actually where I met Sam. So I met Sam like 4 or 5 years ago and I hated him. Hated this guy. I sat beside him like, damn it, I don't want to see her no more. But now I sit with them over a computer. Good from far. So over time, I started following Sam because Sam had a lot of knowledge. He had a lot of team knowledge. He had a lot of networks. He knew quite a bit of information. And then it kind of came like a magnet to him as well, where he realized that he saw potential in me and I saw potential in him. And then we became friends, we became brothers, and became business partners. And we've been able to do that to VT members. So to answer your question, how do people get more in tune, or how do you find the right people for network marketing? Those golden nuggets show themselves. You don't even have to hunt for it. As long as you're in the face of everybody, you're in positions where people can hear you, you put yourself in the right marketing team like BNI or Chamber of Commerce, that's a start. That's like, the ground level. And then you keep putting yourself through that exposure. And over time, those that really, really want it, they tell you through action. And that's what we've been able to do for VT members. That's how we find these golden nuggets, where we interview a bunch of people, we pull in quite a bit of people that have talent that want it more than us, which they won't, but they definitely show that they want it a lot. And then we grow up it. We like, just like a plant. We pour water and sun it so it can grow and become a nice rose or a gem.
Yeah, and I wanna actually touch on a little bit about how our interview process and how our identification process has evolved in terms of the people that we bring you. So again, going back to what we were talking about, we source, hire, train, and manage remote workforce for North American companies, but we do it for a fraction of the cost, right? But what we go through is currently, I probably take in between 100 to 150 resumes a day, applications a day, right? And what we do is we go through a 3-step interview process. We interview them for their personality test, their skill set, their mindset, their background, their family background, their internet speed, whether or not they have a generator at home. And you might be wondering, well, what are all of these questions? Like normally, like you don't ask these questions for interviews. Well, when you're interviewing offshore team members, right, we realize that these questions really matter, right? Because this affects the quality of the work that they do.
To catch the final part of this online income summit, be sure to subscribe to our channel and stay tuned for all our latest uploads. Don't miss out on valuable insights and tips.